I'll invite you two to put your headphones on because we got Marcus Crandell joining us this morning from North Carolina. Look at him, two-time Grey Cup champion. He's a part of CFL history, which he probably knows, but I'll bring that up with him in a moment. Sizzle, good morning, my friend. How are you?
I'm doing good, Rod. How are you, man?
Very well, very well. We got Chris Getzlaff with us and Marshall Hamilton with us in the bunker talking sports this morning. And I know you were just up here for the Plaza induction of your good friend Kerry Joseph not that long ago, Marcus. But before we get into all that, just tell us how you doing and what you're doing these days, as the fans always like to get caught up with the guys.
Well, I'm doing all right, man. No complaints. Just trying to plug away and build a business in a lot of different ways. One of the things I'm doing here is continue to. I brought the insurance industry down here as well, so I've done that. I'm also doing a little broadcasting as well with Pirate Radio here locally in Greenville, North Carolina, where East Carolina University is, my alma mater. So doing the I'm on every Thursday from 5 to 6, and then pregame and postgame shows for 4 hours or three hours, then 2 hours after the game. I'm also just recently taken over trying to help build the rec program back in my hometown. So involved with that and with a lot of other surrounding areas. We're all collaborating to bring sports back into the towns.
None of this surprises me, because you're a champion, always have been, and I'm glad that it's going so well, Marcus. And the other thing I want to talk to you about is we had Wally Buono on this show way back in June once we started. Wally said of all the Grey Cups, and most guys won't answer this question, but he said he has a favorite, and it's 0-1 with the Stampeders and the upsets that you guys knocked off along the way. How about that Wally would say that was his favorite Grey Cup and you were a centerpiece of it?
Man, that's brings a smile to our face. I'm sure I speak for a lot of guys with that. It was a special year for us because we went through a lot of adversity. As you know, with football, you do that, or actually with sports, you do that as far as overcoming the injuries and all those things that go along with getting through an 18-game season and then the playoffs. And so we battled back, and everyone got healthy for the most part when the championship was on the line, and we came out victorious and celebrated and had a good time. And so it's definitely a great feeling to hear a person like Wally say that, and I'm sure I speak for a lot of guys.
You know, I'm going to ask Marshall and Getz to jump in here at any time because I'm sure they got questions for you. But the reason I say that you're part of CFL history, and I'm sure you don't take this as an insult, but we always say when these quarterbacks go down, these number one marquee guys, they say, you can't win a Grey Cup without a marquee quarterback. And everybody says, Marcus Crandell did it in Calgary in 2001. That's how your name still comes up. Is that a compliment or an insult to you?
You know what? Take it as it is, man. Take it with, because I didn't start off the season as a starter that year. Ben Sankey started off. He had a thumb injury, and then I came in, and the thing about it, I got hurt as well. And so it took, as I mentioned, it just took a lot of team effort and faith in each other and belief that we can get it done, especially at the crucial time of the year when we needed to win games late in the season. And so we came together and we did it. So I take it as a compliment. You have to be ready at all times. I tell guys all the time, even when I play, that you always have to be ready. Prepare like a starter as if you're going to play, because you never know when the next injury is going to occur that's going to allow you to get your opportunity.
You were the top backup to Kerry Joseph, and talk a little bit about what made that team special, A, please, Marcus, and B, what it was like coming back to induct him into the Plaza of Honor.
Well, it made it special because Kerry, along with a lot of other Ottawa Renegades teammates, came here or came to Saskatchewan, and we were in a situation where the Rough Riders had been making the playoffs, but weren't able to get over the hump. And Kerry just brought in a different attitude, a different type of leadership. He worked hard on the field. He worked hard off the field. And so he just instilled that into everyone. And just like he talks about as far as leading the group, as far as he wanted to be with us. He wanted to go out there with us, right beside us, and not be, in the forefront, so to speak. And it's all about him. It wasn't all about him. It was about everyone else, and taking in the glory as well. And he always put God first, and that was a big thing as well. And it meant a lot for me to have him ask to induct him into or be his introducer to the Plaza of Honor, and it was a good feeling to come there and see him and to be a part of that special moment for him.
And what about the '07 Rough Riders? What made that team? Well, I guess you talked about the fact that those Renegades guys came, but sometimes it's not always the most talented team, right? And I guess that's where my question is with the 2019 CFL. Getz just said Hamilton's kicking the crap out of everybody, but that doesn't guarantee a championship, man. Sometimes it's the teams that come together. What's the number one ingredient for a championship team since you've been on a couple?
I think it's about guys coming together and sacrificing, coming together and doing whatever you can to make everything work. As far as a lot of guys want to be out there on the field, like you said, like myself. I had been a starting quarterback. Of course, I wanted to be a starter for that league, for that team in 2007. But I took the backseat role and just played my role. And I think that goes across the board. We had Mike Abu come in as well. We have some, so there was a big change there as well as far as the offensive line and just believing in each other. I think that's the main thing because you got that. There were a couple of games where I think it was the Winnipeg game when Kerry took off and I think it was a draw play and went in on the winning touchdown score, so to speak. And it was just moments like that where we always felt like we're going to win the game. We're in it, and I think we learned from the previous year when we came up short against BC, and we just carried that momentum over to the next year.
Marcus Marshall here. I've got a question for you that's a hypothetical question, and it's directed to you, but it's not directed to you personally, but it's directed to you as representing all former quarterbacks that have just retired from the league. So we were talking earlier about the Winnipeg Blue Bombers playing without Matt Nichols. They're playing with Chris Streveler, and under Chris Streveler, they're struggling a little bit, and there's people saying, we should be bringing in a veteran quarterback. And I'm on the side that says that it's really hard to bring in somebody this late in the season and really be effective. Now, you might say, no, Marshall, you're absolutely wrong, but talk about how hard it would be if you had just retired last year and a team that you had never played for came and asked you to come play the last 4 games of the season and save it for us. Well, how hard is that I know what it's like for a receiver or a defensive back or a defensive lineman, but quarterback's a different animal. Talk about how difficult that would be.
Well, it's difficult in the sense that, for one, what type of system you're running. Some people have, or everyone has different systems. A lot of them are the same. So in that regard, it's actually fairly easy. It's just a matter of what kind of terminology are you using and how similar it is to the one that you've been used to. That would be the hardest thing. And I think you just have to, if you're coming in this late in the season, it's just a matter of putting in the time. Really, it becomes more than a 4-hour job for sure, as most people do. But it's probably more than what most people do as far as taking in the extra time. It's the extra time to learn the offense, learn the receivers, learn the running backs, and see where the weaknesses are as far as trying to make the team go. So I think it's definitely a lot tougher from that position with having so many variables that will come in effect to make you be successful or help you be successful.
Our producer Clark has asked, how was the transition to coaching for you, Marcus?
It was, during the latter part of my career, I kind of questioned if I wanted to coach. I think it was fairly easy because I had a group of coaches that I was surrounded by that knew how to win. I was very familiar with, and they just they assisted me as far as helping, learning what to do, involving me as far as the installation and all those kind of things, and I think that helps out. So it was fairly easy because for me, it was so close to my retirement or finishing my season the previous year that we were in the same offense and all those kind of things. I think that was probably the most important thing, is that I was pretty much running the same offense or coaching up the same offense that I was in previously.
All right, Marcus. Well, I appreciate it, my man. I'm glad to hear everything's going so well, and hopefully you get up here again soon. Look us up. We'd love to have you in the bunker sometime.
I would definitely look you up for sure when I'm there.
All right. Thank you,
Thanks for
Marcus. Have
having
a
me
great
on.
day.
You're watching Rod Pedersen on demand. For more of the Rod Pedersen Show, visit rodpedersen.com or follow Rod Pedersen on social media.